I welcome you all with love, and I'm going to start with a prayer that merges the heart and the mind, and then we'll be, after we dance for a little bit, which I hope everybody joins me in, joins in with me, then we're going to be talking about love as one of the most important things for longevity and well-being. Plus, it stands on its own, but I'm putting it in a different context to understand that it affects lots of parts of our life. So we start with the prayer of Hashem Yikud Kudusha Brihu Ushinate Bi Ilu Ar Imu Laiha Shemike Belovke Bida Shem Hashem Kozreel Kolam Amen, which is about a prayer that merges the heart and the mind, which is where we start with love, but we also start with dancing, which is one of the best and most powerful ways to merge the heart and the mind. So, I will keep those love again. Here we go. So, what's the big thing here? Well, love and affection matters. And there are different levels. It could just be kissing or hugging or touching. It could be sexual intercourse. It could be romantic love. So we have a few different things here. So one place to start, and this is about love and longevity, I'm going to put it that way, is the love of God. In terms of Eastern tradition, the highest dharma is your relationship and your love of God. Second level is your spiritual growth through your work. Right livelihood, we call it. And your work is a few things. It includes relationship. And that's really what we're talking about now. And so what happens when people actually make love? And I'm going to just say there are different levels of relationship. You know, you could have a friendship relationship. You could have, a collective relationship, or you could have a sexual relationship, and all of those. And you could be in an intimate sexual relationship, and like an intimate sexual committed relationship is going to give you the most ongoing effect. And what's the effect? Well, on one simple level, it definitely decreases stress. And it boosts up the immune system. particularly immunoglobulin A, which protects us against colds and flus. Love inspires better communication. It inspires trust. When you are naked, physically and also emotionally and mentally, you got to really have a certain amount of intimacy capacity to make that happen. So now, along with love, you get some hormonal benefits, neurotransmitter benefits, really. It increases dopamine, which is a feel good, and then the endorphins, which makes you feel good and helps with pain, and serotonin, and perhaps most important is oxytocin, which has the nickname of feel good. And so all these hormones are stimulated by love, particularly stimulated by love and sexual activity. Okay? And it's really important. So I'm going to just be clear what I'm saying. The research suggests that making physical love, sexual intercourse at least once a week, is sufficient to get all these high level benefits of well-being and all the things I'm talking about, and in a sense, longevity. This is definitely a part of longevity. Now, it's interesting that women who have satisfying sex have less heart attacks, okay, and more regulated blood pressure and more stress reduction. So we see, on the other hand, men who are in relationship live longer. Men and women live longer in relationship. And that's an important part of what goes on. And relationship, how long you live, is also connected to how well your partner is involved in this lifestyle that enhances love and how they feel about themselves. Now, when you're in love and you have an intimate partner, it boosts self-esteem because you get the message, I am loved. It's a pretty good message to get. And it improves the body image along with that. You feel desired. It improves your self-confidence. These are all real things that happen when people feel loved and are loving. Okay? And when you feel love and affection, it increases the relationship satisfaction. In terms of longevity, the research is clear that those people who are in a relationship do indeed live longer. And then the people who live less long out of a relationship are men. So men do, the longevity levels do much better in relationship. Also, when you're fulfilled in the relationship and in love, your sleep is better. Well, that's pretty important because for longevity, adequate sleep is pretty important. We need at least 7 hours long term. Now, of course, when you're a teenager, maybe you don't need so much. Love making decreases the stress response. It decreases the cortisol and increases the endorphins. So we're rebalancing our system. As I mentioned, sexual activity also actually increases the effectiveness of the immune system. Okay? And again, so we're talking immune, we're talking overall sense of well-being, overall sense of happiness, overall sense of self-esteem, overall sense of longevity, and that's once or twice a week. And so it's going to also enhance bonding. And one of the bonding hormones is oxytocin, which men and women release. The most obvious oxytocin is we see releases with breastfeeding, but really it's men and women and whatever interaction you're having in a sexual way. So these are all things that make a relationship work better. Now, there's people, believe it or not, who really don't connect, but they may be married. My wife and I often offer sacred relationship classes, and there's one couple who's been married, I think it was like 40 years. They hadn't actually looked at each other. And when you're really in love, you look at each other. You see the other person. You are seen by the other person. And when I say the word seen, I mean you connect. You're internally validated. So this is why, and that literally is part of a longevity result. So we have some really, really good reasons for being in a relationship. Now, what's interesting is people who get divorced, more people are getting married again in their 70s and 80s and even 90s because people are catching on that relationship definitely improves your overall life experience. Okay? And again, I'm going to mention it has an anti-anxiety effect and also an anti-depression effect as well. So we're looking at love not as a medicine, but the result of a healthy relationship improves the quality of your life and improves the energies of longevity. And that's a really, really important thing. So love is worth working for. I know people, are creating computers with, relationship. It is not the same. The research doesn't validate it's the same as a human to human interaction. You get a computer that says, compliments you and so forth and so on, but it's not. There's I'm going to call it chemistry. And then we're looking at real chemistry that happens with physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual love. And it's a real chemistry that improves every aspect of your life. So that's key. So love is worth finding. Relationship is worth finding. We don't seem to put the emphasis on it now as what we used to. But in time, we will come back to the importance of love in one's life, the importance of relationship in one's life, and all the benefits, longevity being one of them. But being in a relationship isn't just so you can live longer, okay? It's because we were really meant, with few exceptions, to be in relationship at whatever age. I want to make a point. Again, is a much higher percentage of men and women, and widows and widowers and whatever, in their 80s and 90s getting married than ever before. So I think people are waking up to that as part of the bigger picture. So just to review it, affection, being in an affectionate, loving, intimate, the different levels of relationship, intimate, romantic, loving relationship. Okay, romantic loving is the most powerful for longevity, well-being, positive hormone, neurotransmitter releases, longevity, balancing your blood pressure. Generally, every level of health is improved with this. And the sexual aspect improves relationship as well. So these are all things that happen that are part of life. And as we move into the computer age, and some people are kind of literally marrying their AI machines, it's not the same. So may everybody be blessed that we find someone in our life where we can have a loving relationship, a sexual relationship. Okay, now for what's the best way? First, be open to it. The best way to attract a healthy later life relationship. 1, to be open to it. 2, to look for it. 3, to put yourself in social situations where other people are looking for a relationship, and then look at, what makes a healthy relationship. I kind of mentioned a bunch of things here, and it's really good for those to line up. But the first decision is whether you're willing to be naked with the person, physically, now I'm going to say emotionally, and mentally, and spiritually. In other words, full intimate contact. So if you are in a place where you are more open on all of those levels, then you're more likely to draw someone to you who is looking for that. Now, I'm going to give a little bit of counterpoint. It really makes a difference if you find somebody, not just somebody you can have sex with, but to have a healthy later life relationship where you are meeting on all those levels. Physically, I mentioned hopefully they can make love like once a week type of thing. That's okay. So that, and then emotionally available to you on a regular basis, and mentally and spiritually. So you're sharing all the levels of what relationship is about. And the best way to attract, this is what you're saying, is be open that you are interested in a long-term relationship. But you have to protect yourself that, with age, we get a little wiser most of the time. So we want to have a relationship that's going to work on all those levels. And I think that's the key, is that you want to attract someone by putting out that that's what you want. And, pray that you meet that person, but you have to be available yourself to be in a healthy relationship. It's not just to attract a man or woman, but am I available to be in a healthy relationship that's going to last over a long period of time and will last at all those levels? So that's really the best way, is that you have to be available. It's a very good question, and I hope that has helped you. We are having a fast, spiritual fasting retreat, Dr. Cousens Spiritual Fasting Retreat in the Dominican Republic. Go to www.drcousenspiritualfast.com, and who knows? If you find, you may run into some people there who are sharing the same thing. So we're meditating twice a day. It's a spiritual fasting retreat. So you put yourself in places where you're going to meet. You have the highest potential of meeting people who share the same values. That's the key. So, we have to be thoughtful about where you're placing yourself. So the fasting retreat is coming up soon. And we also have a world peace meditation that we do every Sunday, 11:30 Eastern Standard Time. And again, you may want to get a little group gathering where you are, and we're doing, and you may meet somebody in that context. So that is a very good question. I hope that helps answer the question for you. So, peace be with you. Love be with you. Good. See, all the levels are important. So put yourself in a place where people already are sharing those. It's very important. We don't think we're going to convert someone to the way we are. So we want to find people who are already there and are sharing that overall way of being. It's a way of living. Okay, very good. So peace be with you. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Oh, Mitakiwasan. Aho.